can you start by telling us about your management consultancy background and why did you start Culture for Good?
Hi, my name is John, coming from Culture4Good Consultancy. My background, well, I started off as a consultant for management teams about a decade ago. First of all, it was because on and on, we do come across since we deal with the management team executives, there's always this kind of loophole or like pain point that they've been struggling to resolve team issues and business issue on and on. It's just like turmoil. And there is the point where that I came across that, especially during the COVID times, that it seems that because we were kind of disconnected as a team, so things kind of dial up to 11, where you can't really see your team. You don't even know whether they're actually functioning or not, and decisions are becoming more, prolonged and ineffective. So then I kind of just like, why not I kind of just, and the most important thing is that they don't have enough time. Because everyone's trying to transform and struggle, especially during like the fifth wave of COVID, where everyone was trying to see, we just got to find a way out, or we're just going to go home and go out of business. And then I kind of just founded Culture for Good, trying to see if we could come out and tackle those executives who are actually struggling in terms of time and financial resources, that they might not even have the luxury to, like traditional pre-COVID, everyone's trying to like look for maybe training or like having workshops and stuff like that. But we have to also adopt to that particular desperate times. So that's why we set up Culture for Good, targeting this kind of scenario, whereas we want everyone to have a happy workplace culture, because we believe that is the crucial part to sustain a business in the long term. Because we all love to see profits go up, but if the team is struggling to even pull yourself together to resolve these issues, that will kind of be detrimental. So that's why we founded this social business, hoping to provide an option for executives or even board members to maybe tailor-made experiences, or even workshops, or even online or even offline, to handle them, to deal with the behavioral transformation of their team, so that you don't need to really like keep on like pushing out commands and kind of just say, hey, why not I keep telling you and you just still don't follow, right? So that's actually one of the pain points we come across when we deal with management teams, because they just want to make sure that their teams are actually going to be able to communicate with others, instead of just like burning time and being in meetings that they don't even know whether they're actually here for, right? So that's actually what I'm trying to resolve through Culture for Good in the first place. So
I'm sure every company needs this, but can you tell us like specifically what kinds of companies you are currently serving, and what are the main challenges that they face in their workplace, especially when it comes to ESG requirements, for example?
Yes, because when we talk about culture, you can't miss the part which is corporate governance. Because when we talk about board, management teams, or even the C-suites, it's always a bit tricky that you can't just like, hey, you shouldn't do this and shouldn't do that, right? Because we're, as consultants, we're just here to provide more options and help you reflect on how things could be done in a different manner, right? So I guess that's the most difficult way that, for us, that we go in, we just try to make sure that why not we as a third party to kind of pull everyone together, and we put everyone in a very safe contextual series of workshop where everyone just throws everyone to the wall and see what sticks through discussions, and we try to reach consensus through that workshop, so that everyone gets used to that safe environment, so that even without me in the long term, that could be helping to resolve. When we talk about issues, we want to focus on like one-on-one issues and like team meetings kind of discussions issues, because that's the two things that we Culture for Good have identified is most difficult, which is number one, because you always want to have your subordinates to come across these issues, but they keep on banging themselves on the wall, and then they just keep, hey, hi, boss, can we do this? Why not you tell me what to do? And then you kind of tell them, hey, let's try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then they just kind of go back and say, hey, yeah, I tried, but it doesn't work. Can you tell me what else we could do, right? So that kind of builds the loophole, which is a spiral down that it never gets resolved because they just keep coming for you for answers, right? That's on the one-on-one side, right? So the other mainstream of issues we tackle is that, like earlier I've been saying that when we have teams, like everyone is together here, like everyone may kind of like have their own thoughts, but is it everyone online on the same page to reach consensus? And so that everyone maybe just here say, hey, well, I'm just gonna hear what CEO you want to say, and I'll just follow, and I'll just report, maybe I'm for marketing, and then I'll just say what I should do and I have done, and then I don't care for the rest of the meeting. I'll just maybe check my emails and messages like that, right? So this is the other thing, is that how do we make sure the teams put through workshops so that they could have a way to communicate with each other, instead of everyone's trying to like stare at who's in charge and then just waiting for them to pull the plug and just call the shots, right? So that is a bit ineffective. So these are the two main issues that we deal with. But the other part of your question is that what kind of organizations that we deal with is that when we talk about people, team, business issues, it spreads all around the spectrum. We come from listed companies, family businesses, SMEs, social enterprises, NGOs, startups, or even like church groups or alumni associations. That these are even more trickier because they don't really have the money kind of like financial or the authority, right? Because everyone just are like on pro bono, right? So why do you point fingers at me, tell me what to do when we're all just volunteers, that kind of thing. So that is where Culture for Good shines a little bit more, because if all we're just volunteers, but we all have our expertise. So this is where we come in and say, hey, why not we find a way to communicate with each other through the Culture for Good language, and even sometimes church groups that we came across as well. So
I understand that you have a signature program, Culture Transformation Journey. So you have something to show us, right? Can you show us rather, what that is about and how it's benefiting the companies?
Okay. Well, I guess maybe I'll just start with showing a little, like a 1-minute clip on what we do.
Are you an executive or key decision maker from the commercial, social, education sector, or startup? Are you desperately looking for possible next steps to resolve your business, team, personal, family, and relationship issues for a sustainable culture, but tight on resources? Look no further than Culture for Good, a culture transformation social business established to inspire executive leaders to resolve burning company and team issues for good. At Culture for Good, we have a signature vision to ensure a co-inspiring environment for sustainably fast growth and happy workplace culture. Help leaders make impactful decisions with behavioral transformation. Promote self-reflective journey in teams and organizations to discover what works. Culture for Good, where your company culture transformation journey begins. Schedule a free consultation session and share your burning issues with us today.
So I'll just move on to like what do we actually present for, is that because it's more like mutual dialogue. When we put people through these workshops, it's not like you go to school, we give you a PowerPoint and then you just go discuss and then do activities together. No, when we're not like team building, consultancy, we're just trying to have everyone have an equal, share of the mutual dialogue, whether you have a title or department, that's during office, but in our workshops, everyone is equal. And so everyone throws their issues through these sessions of discussions. And then that's what we do. And secondly, we believe that culture is more sustainable than a business, because business targets always needs to refresh and realign every month or even annually. But the culture is that what sticks. Even if you retire, then the company culture needs to be more crucial to retain. And when we talk about good, is that really we want to do it one and done. We don't want things to go back. So it's more like for good and for the better good, because that's the way of going sustainable and towards ESG. So and everyone that approaches us has their objective that they want to achieve. Like sometimes, as I said, is more like succession planning, strategic planning. You want to gel the teams together, or you want to build the management team's capacity. Could go on the list. Based on what we came across. So everyone has something they want to take through this journey. So it's more like a customized solution. So which leads us to the end is that everyone is more like a tailor-made solution, and that's what we stand for. We don't give cookie cutting like programs, training, stuff like that. So. Yeah. And just seeing is believing. So I guess these are some of the workshops that we conduct. We put everyone in scenarios which are real cases, real issues that they are being bothered, and then we try to not put them for like simulations, but they actually need to resolve it. Because if they could do it, I'm sure even without me back in the office, they will know how to figure out a way and a language to do that. In terms of what we offer as a product, well, focusing on like one-to group or even one-to-one basis. So we do like the transformation journey, like Jerome you shared. We do strategic planning and like team building. Yes, that's traditional in Hong Kong for NGOs mostly. Even for like one-on-one sessions, we even have executives who really want to target on how they make decisions differently. So that's why we also have these one-on-one sessions as well. And even if you're not like a trillion-dollar company CEO, even maybe you're just like, as a university graduate trying to struggle your way to get a job, and you're trying to find your life, like what do you want to do with it? So we also provide these sessions as well. About like what customers says about us. I know that these words may be a little bit tiny, but you could totally find what they have the feedback on our services online on our website as well. So these are some of them from schools and NGOs, or even like individuals, and even like social enterprise. And
this is really interesting, and I think your service is really a need for every company, especially today after COVID. So can you tell us what's in the pipeline for Culture for Good this year? Are you going to expand to new markets? Are you going to launch a new signature program? What can we expect?
So, well, in terms of what's on the menu going forward for later this year or even next year, I guess we want to really focus on the word of mouth. That's why I'm here to share with everyone what we do, because it's a very personal kind of journey. Because even though if you're like a CEO, or if you're not just like a manager or something, it's all boils down to how do you figure out to what's going to resolve what's on top of your mind right now. So it's a very personal kind of, even as a team, because every company has their own DNA. We're not trying to hear and stir up your company's culture. We're not trying to inject something new, but we're just trying to help everyone to find a way to communicate that could be sustainable. So to establish an atmosphere or a culture for good. So that's what actually is all about. So our focus going forward would be more to focus on our every customers, like the journey. How do we bring that? Do we actually address their concerns like by design? Like we don't, like we said earlier, we don't cookie cut our service. It's more like how do we listen the needs, and do we actually meet the objectives of our client on what they're trying to resolve. And like you share, like especially for post-COVID, we just need to do things differently instead of just repeating the mold like on and on like pre-COVID. It's like because the world is functionally a lot different. Because now we've got like hybrid, we have people who are teams that could be located anywhere. We could have work from home policies. So we need to think differently. So I guess for our focus going forward is more to how to make sure everyone's customer journey and the satisfaction is really worthwhile on every penny they spend on us. And again, it's more like a referral business. So we rather focus on how we get every customer happy as a culture, instead of just like blindfoldingly like aggressively expanding our map towards the world. But there is one thing that we learned through COVID is that we have adopted our services to even deliver online and everywhere, anywhere. So we don't need to be like, finding like a place like activity rooms like that. So even if you're having a global team, we could do this whole like workshops or even coaching sessions online entirely. So that's what we've also evolved as a company. Yeah.